Hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh Rao and I'll be your instructor for this session on the introduction to Azure Certifications. But then, ladies and gentlemen, before we go on to begin this session, just quickly head to the chat box and do type in a message yes if you can hear me fine, and of course if you can see me fine. Head to the chat box and give me a quick confirmation, guys, so that we can go on to begin with this session, right? Now, it is a very important thing that all of you guys have to note here is that I'm going to be monitoring all of your comments on my mobile phone here. So, whatever questions that you might have, whatever suggestions you have, or anything that you want to talk about regarding Azure certifications, guys, always make sure to put them down, in the comment section, and do let us know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Right, guys? I'm still waiting for your comments to hit the chat box and say yes. So come on, head to the chat box and just put on a quick yes. Perfect. All right. We have Anup Singh says yes. We have Jagannath Sahu says yes. So guys, welcome to this session. No matter where you are tuning in, it is a bright, beautiful evening here in Bengaluru. It's an amazing time in the entire world, of course, to be going to talk about cloud computing. Cloud computing is an amazing platform, right? But then, guys, before we actually go on to dive right into the agenda, into the heart of what we're going to check out in this session, I want to take a second of your time to guide you about this venture we have here at Great Learning called as Great Learning Academy. Now, Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place for all of you guys to check out. Now, why do I say this? Well, Great Learning Academy has something for all of you all, no matter where you are in your career right now. For example, let me talk about what it is itself, right? This is a platform where you get courses for free. Now, you can sign up for free. You can enroll into as many courses as you want for free, complete them, learn them, build up your knowledge base, and guess what? At the end of it as well, you are going to get a certificate of completion absolutely free of cost, right? Now, if you're wondering about how many courses, such as this we have or we are providing, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are providing somewhere around 200 plus courses today. We have 700,000 learners who join in from 140 different countries. We provide somewhere around 1,000 plus hours of free learning content, and of course at the same time we get 3 million plus views on all our learning content. So guys, it becomes a very important thing that you guys check out Great Learning Academy, right? Now, since we're actually going to talk about a very important concept, which is cloud computing, let me actually go on to click cloud computing. Now, guys, there are so many things that you have to note here. We have multiple courses for cloud computing. That's one thing. We have 3 levels of courses taught here, guys. We have the beginner course, we have the intermediate leveled course, and of course we have the advanced course as well. Now, depending on what it is that you want to pick up, you definitely can check it out, right? Now, I've just clicked on the Cloud Foundations course. This is a great course if you are willing to get started with the basic concepts of cloud computing, to become familiar with the concept itself, right? So you can see all the skills that is covered, the entire syllabus, and of course a certificate which looks like this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is a certificate of completion which will add so much value if you portray it on your LinkedIn profile, on your resumes, or wherever it is, right? So the equal amount of knowledge plus having a certificate of completion is a win-win in my opinion. And as you can see right here, to enroll in it is for free, and to complete it and get the certificate of completion, that is free as well. So it's completely free. I highly suggest you guys check it out. Now, we have multiple popular courses in multiple different domains. Now, all of these courses, ladies and gentlemen, are taught by subject matter experts, and some of these courses are even available in multiple different languages as well. As you can see, we have Python for machine learning in Hindi, and of course we keep adding more and more content on that. Now, a very important thing that you guys have to know, that in case if you are a person who's looking towards a job, let's say maybe you just graduated out of your college or you're about to graduate, you're looking for a job, we have an amazingly well curated job interview preparation section here. So you get free live courses on soft skill preparation, aptitude preparation, technical interviews, and a lot of different things which will ensure at the end of the day that it can do everything that it can to help you get your dream job. So that's a very important thing that that you guys, again, all of this is completely free, right? And our learning collaborators are some of the best in the entire world out there. We have Stanford Business School, we have University of Texas at Arlington, Texas McCombs, Great Lakes, we have Northwestern University, Stanford Center for Professional Development, IIT Madras. Guys, you get the deal, right? So some of our learning, our learning collaborators are some of the best in the world at what they do, of course. Now, guys, we get a common question saying, how can we reach Great Learning Academy, right? The most simple way of how you can reach Great Learning Academy is just a simple Google search, Great Learning Academy, and you can, of course, use greatlearning.in/academy to reach as well. But then, hey, there's another way. If you guys use your mobile phones to do a lot of learning, you can download the Great Learning app. This Great Learning app is a fantastic app. It has an amazing user interface. It is available both on the Google Play Store and, of course, on the Apple App Store as well. So if you're a person who's using iOS, regardless of a person who's using Android, whatever it is, we have got you covered, ladies and gentlemen. So I highly suggest that you guys can definitely should check it out. And you can also see the upcoming live sessions. You have tuned into my session. This is the introduction to Azure certification session out there. But of course, if you click view all live sessions, you definitely can check out the other live sessions we have in store for you guys. So I hope all of you all are excited for the introduction to Azure certifications. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to make sure you never miss an update from us. And with that, guys, we would highly appreciate it if you could like the video. It only takes a second to like the video, but it means a lot to us. So make sure to like the video, and we can go on to proceed. Right? Perfect. Now, guys, without further ado, let us actually check out the very interesting agenda that we have here. Right? So here are the session takeaways. First of all, we're going to begin by understanding what cloud computing is in itself, right? Now, cloud computing is a very vast domain, which I'm sure all of you guys already know about, right? So guys, you tell me, you head to the comment section and let me know what you know about this domain of cloud computing, right? So you head to the comment section and you let me know. Right. Now, first we're going to understand what the domain is. And once we get a complete understanding of, okay, so this is what goes on, we'll take a quick introduction to Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a very important player in the world of cloud computing, as you'll see, and they have fantastic certifications as well. So we're going to take a look at all the certifications. We're going to give you a good walkthrough of all of the Azure certifications as well. And once you understand, okay, so this is what is going on in terms of certification for Azure, I am sure you will be looking forward to becoming an expert in this particular domain. So in that particular case, I am also going to guide you on becoming a specialist, becoming an expert in cloud computing. So make sure you stick till the end of the session for that. Right, guys? Perfect. Now, to start out with what cloud computing is itself, right? Now, cloud computing is one of these concepts which we sort of have been using for a really long time now, even though it doesn't feel like it. You backing up your emails, you backing up your photos on Google Cloud or whatever it is, right? Like I just said, Google Cloud, we are already using cloud computing for a lot of different things. It is just that nowadays it is so popular that it is literally used everywhere around us, and wherever you see some application which is based on a cloud environment, right? So it's an amazing thing. So what is this? What is cloud computing that makes it this popular, right? Now, guys, to answer it, to give you a formal definition of what cloud computing is, I think it adds a lot of value to talk about what we're trying to achieve here. Now, cloud computing is considered to be a delivery of services over the internet. Now, if you just think about services, like you watching a video is also you using a product of cloud computing, right? But nowadays what's changing is that apart from services as well, right, with the services itself, we provide a lot of different computing resources which you can use. Now, if you're a person who's like willing to start your own company, you are going to require a lot of hardware, right? You're going to require a lot of computers, a lot of servers. You have to cool everything down. A computer heats up immensely, right? So you have to work on so many different things, maintaining it, first of all, buying it and using it. in the case of cloud computing, you can virtually assign yourself servers in a way where you just pay for what you use. If you use a very powerful set of servers for like just 15 minutes, you're only going to pay for it for the 15 minutes that you used. How amazing is that? So you don't have to break your head about bringing the servers into your office, installing sophisticated air conditioning systems and all of that. So nothing, right? Even if it fails, to a good amount of extent, there is data backups done, and it is not your responsibility. There is someone else in the back end who's taking care of all of these things, right? That's a huge advantage, sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one important thing that we have to talk about is, to understand cloud computing in an example perspective. So, whenever you're backing up any of your photos to Google Drive, Google Photos, or all of these things, right, understand that you're using a storage space that is present on a server which is probably sitting halfway around the world, halfway across the world from you, and it is available to you at the, at a second's notice, right? As soon as you open up Google Photos, your photo is there. It's not going to make you wait half a day or one day or tell you your photo is not yet ready. Absolutely nothing. As soon as you want it, it is ready, right? That's a very nice example of a good implementation of a cloud service. Now, whenever you're in your office space, I mean, of course, I think most of us are working from home now, but whenever you take a look at actually being in office and having an on-premise server set up there as well, right? So whenever you back some data up, where do you think you're backing it up to? So if you believe that your on-premise server might crash, you're going to be putting all that data on a server which is not in your office, right? You're offloading it somewhere else. That, again, data storage space is a very good example of cloud computing. It doesn't end at this. An amazing thing over these days is the world of IoT, right? Internet of Things, that has kicked up a notch in all of its domains. And whenever you see an application of IoT working, where you are sitting in your office and you're trying to turn off the lights at your home, that again is one amazing cloud services. And it's not only that, guys, we can go on to talk about examples after examples, but I think that you guys know the value of cloud computing already, because if you don't, let me tell you that you definitely should be looking towards cloud computing, as a domain itself, and of course for your career itself, right? This is a domain which is definitely trying to transform the complete way we look at data, we work with data itself. Now, there was a time when you physically needed the data no matter what, right? Remember the days of floppies, CDs, and DVDs and all of that. You had to physically have that disk which contained the data for you to work or something, right? Nowadays, that is not the case. You can, there's no limit to this. You can upload and download terabytes worth of it if your bandwidth allows for it. You can have entire companies, startups, mid-tier companies, multinational corporations. You can move an entire company to use everything there is to use in a cloud computing environment, and it is going to work fine. And fun fact is that a lot of people are actually doing this. There is hundreds and hundreds of companies who have completely moved to the cloud and they are working efficiently there, right? That's one thing. The second thing is that when someone is giving you powerful processing compute methodologies, when someone's giving you amazing data storage at a very good price, it's a pay-as-you-go policy. I don't find a reason of why you should decline. Now, you yourself buying all the hardware, you yourself setting it up, finding an expert to maintain it, taking backups of it, cooling it down, it's just a hassle that the world doesn't even have time for these days, to be very honest with you, right? Now, adding on to that, the third point talks about how you can offer your services as a cloud computing expert, and of course using the domain itself across multiple different other domains. Now, cloud computing is a domain where you can touch literally any other business and you can have an impact on it, right? Be it in the case of healthcare, be it in the case of information technology, be it in the case of automobiles, guys, whatever you can think of, even construction, right? There is one way or the other that you can make use of cloud computing. It's a full-blown power. It's literally full-blown power of computing at your fingertips, and it depends on how much of it you want to tap into and use, right? The question that most of us get asked whenever we talk about cloud computing is, okay, so if you're giving me the most powerful computers in the entire world, for example, maybe to work with our product, is it going to be very expensive? The answer is again, it depends on what you're trying to use. A server is not meant to cater for just one person, right? Now, you may have hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people watching something simultaneously. They're coming onto your website, whatever it is, right? So, having the bandwidth to occupy all of that is one thing. The second thing is that the advantage here is that you will be paying as and when you go. If you see a burst of traffic and that you have to scale up your servers, you'll only pay for the amount of time that your servers actually saw that huge amount of load where it had to add more servers virtually, right? So whatever you use, you pay only for that. That is the best thing. It is definitely noteworthy. It is definitely an important thing to talk about cloud computing, right, guys? So guys, I'm monitoring all of your questions. Do head to the comment section. Do put down your comments. There's going to be a session. It's going to be highly interactive. I absolutely love all of your comments whenever you put it down. So, guys, head to the comment section. Just put down your comments. Right. So we have comments coming in. TGP Gamer says, "Sir, what will be best, web development or cloud computing?" Well, TGP Gamer, what do I say to this is that what about doing web development on cloud computing platform, right? You can make use of two of the most sought after domains in the world today. Web development, of course, has its own potential, has its own use cases, has its own trends for 2021, while cloud computing, again, both of these domains are showing fantastic trends. So depending on what it is that you want to do, you would pick up one of these, and I'm sure with either of the choice that it is going to be fantastic for you, right? Perfect. Right, guys. Now to talk about Microsoft Azure itself, guys, you head to the comment section. For all the people who are viewing this particular live session, guys, head to the comment section. Let me know if you guys have used Microsoft Azure, you have heard of Microsoft Azure somewhere, or whatever it is, right? So guys, head to the comment section and let me know. Right, perfect. Now while you guys do that, let me talk to you about what Microsoft Azure is. One very important thing to know is that Microsoft Azure is one among the top 3 or 4 players in the entire cloud computing industry. Now, this is an industry which is worth billions and billions of dollars, as you're going to see down the session. But it adds value for you to know that, hey, if Amazon, who's providing AWS, Amazon Web Services, is doing something really well, Microsoft Azure also comes up with something which is again very brilliant and makes you want to choose Azure over AWS. When this is happening, there's another potential player here, Google, right? Google Cloud Platform. So GCP comes up with another beautiful feature that these both are not doing, and people will want to use GCP for that. And seeing that IBM Cloud, the people at IBM Cloud are going to do something fantastic. Now, this kind of a competitive growth where all of these potential certification providers, as you can say, in terms of training, in terms of their services, in terms of them having an impact in the cloud computing domain, it's absolutely fantastic. To give you certain numbers, right, I am a person who's usually backed by numbers. Now, an important thing here for you to note is that in the entire industry, the cloud computing industry, right, Microsoft Azure holds 20% market share. Now, you might say, okay, 20% doesn't seem like a lot, right? But when you think about 20% of maybe $600 billion, that is pretty big, right? So that's my entire point here. The cloud computing domain itself is very, very huge, and in that we are holding a market share of somewhere around 20%. Makes Amazon Azure a fantastic fantastic entity, a fantastic tool, a fantastic provider in itself, right? Now to talk about certifications, a very important point that you have to know is in a cloud computing job, right? Be it you're looking for an AWS job, GCP job, or an Azure job, you're usually asked to be certified. Now, this certification usually comes from you clearing a couple of examinations and you portraying your skills that, hey, I have this amount of experience, I have learned the tool, I have learned the platform to this kind of a proficiency, and now that I am becoming an expert in it, right? So it adds a lot of value for you guys to actually go on to understand the domain itself, get certified in it, and then look out for your dream job. And of course, guys, cloud computing jobs pay an amazing salary, and I'm sure all of you guys already know this. And the important thing which usually we have to discuss about all the time is that certifications, right? Whenever you're talking about Azure certifications, they are very very thorough in testing you. So you have to be very competent enough. You have to have good amount of knowledge to even go on to take up the exam and clear all of it. It is a very comprehensively put together set of certifications that you have to learn. You have to put genuine efforts into it, understand it, and then you can create it, right? So doing all of this, after you have cleared it, you will have a certification in your hand. You'll have a certificate in your hand that says, hey, I am so and so certified in this aspect of Microsoft Azure, and that is going to add an immense amount of showcase. It's going to add an immense amount of value to your candidature whenever you apply to any of these companies, right? Perfect. All right, so to pick up your questions, Abhishek Kumar has a question. So, would you please elaborate once more about IoT? Well, Abhishek, actually stick through this session. We're going to talk about Microsoft Azure and a certification of Azure in terms of IoT as well. So, make sure you stick around for that. I have a slide there which we're going to discuss exactly that. Perfect. Monish Sem says this platform is really great. Of course, Monish, it's an amazing thing. Microsoft Azure is having, there's thousands of companies who use Microsoft Azure today. So it just shows that these guys have immense amount of potential, right? And guys, we have to talk about the pandemic, right? Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, it so happened that the entire world was either, had to look towards remote education, remote work from homes, or whatever it is. You had to still keep your business running when you are not physically present in the office, right? So, a large part of the world, in fact, there is more than 10 times the usual interest shown into the world of cloud computing now during the COVID-19 pandemic, because everyone realizes that you can do a lot more in terms of cloud computing. It is highly efficient, and it is light on your pocket at the end of the day as well, right? Now, keeping all of this in mind, right from the startups to the big MNCs, everyone is looking forward to it. And guess what? It's predicted that in the next 4 years, 85% of the workloads which are being taken up by computers, laptops, servers in your office space, or in fact even in your home as well, this completely will be moved to the cloud. 85% of the entire entire world's workload. How amazing is this, right? Now, to go on to do this, you definitely need some functioning knowledge of the domain itself. So to get that, again, a certification is a great place for you to check it out. Now, whenever we talk about Azure certifications, you have to be very clear about one thing, is that it's an amazing advantage that Azure are providing you here, is that it is role based. So if you're a person who's looking to implement machine learning, concept of machine learning, the concept of artificial intelligence, data engineering, all of these things on the cloud itself, well, you can be a person who is an expert in providing AI related solutions on Microsoft Azure, right? How amazing is that? And guys, look at the third point here. Here's a very important point. Azure developers get paid an amazingly high salary, somewhere around $140,000, somewhere around $170,000 dollars per annum. And this estimate, when you're bringing it into the Indian numbers as well, the average salary is fantastic. It goes up somewhere around 10 lakhs per annum for a beginner, all the way to 35-40 lakhs per annum for an expert in Microsoft Azure as well. And all of these numbers are achievable. Definitely, these are considered by taking in the lower average and the higher average as well. So these are average numbers, and they look this fantastic, right? Amazing. Now, after having understood that, hey, Azure is popular, Azure is one among the top three, they're doing things really amazingly well, all of the things set apart. Now that we're talking about certifications, which Azure certification should you go for? There are a lot of certification, and I'm sure you guys are curious, right? Now, to be honest with you, there's multiple certifications, but all of these certifications are brought down and simplified into 4 different tiers. We have the Azure Fundamentals certifications, we have multiple Azure Associate level certifications, we have the Azure Expert level certifications, and we have specialty certifications. Now, if you take a look at the name itself is going to give you a good amount of clarity of what you should expect from the certification programs, right? Azure Fundamentals talk about how you can quickly pace yourself up with respect to Azure, the domain itself, the working knowledge of the domain and all of that. Associate certification, you're supposed to be looking at if you're a person maybe 6 months or 1 year experience and you want to challenge yourself, you want to push yourself to be certified, right? So that is an associate level certification. Then you have the expert level certification. So once you have 2 or 3 years worth of experience, you definitely will want to look towards Azure expert certifications, because at the end of the day, using that, you can become an architect, you can become a cloud architect. And if you are a cloud architect, especially with proficiency in Azure, you definitely can look towards amazing jobs in your dream companies, dream designations, whatever it is, ladies and gentlemen, right? And then we have Azure specialty certifications. Specialty certifications are really nice because at the end of the day, if you have certain niche concepts or certain niche domains, you bring it towards Azure, and you make sure that for example, someone asked the question IoT, right? Well, you can use IoT by making use of Microsoft Azure. Now, that is not the only purpose of Microsoft Azure, but then hey, they are providing a certification which says you can become an expert in IoT to work on it and provide solutions using the Azure platform, right? How amazing is that? So, how many certifications do we have in total? Well, to answer this question, we have 14 Azure certifications in total that you can work towards. Now, a common question we get saying is, okay, so if I'm looking to become certified in Microsoft Azure, do I have to do all 14 of these? And the answer to this is absolutely no. See, these are role-based certifications and these are specialty certifications in which you can pick up what it is that you would want to do and you can, work on that as well. If you're directly jumping to an expert level certification, sometimes there are prerequisites, regarding certification, or the most important part in the knowledge itself, that you have to clear the associate level to get to that, right? So it's highly suggested you take it, step by step, work with the fundamentals, and then go ahead, right? So this is an important thing. There are 14 certifications in total that are split down into 4 tiers, which we checked out in this particular slide: fundamentals, associate, expert, and specialty, right? Perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Now let us go on to check out what these certifications cost you, right? Now, these certifications are not free. You have to take an examination to go on to show your proficiency in the matter, and these have a cost attached to it as well. So if you're in the US, these exams cost somewhere around $100 to all the way to $400 for every attempt that you take the examination. And in India, it roughly translates to somewhere around 7,000 rupees all the way up to 28,000 rupees as well. So this is for every single attempt that you're going to take up that particular examination, right? Now guys, point number 2 here is a very, very important point. Point number 2 states that from June 2021, all of the Azure certifications is going to be valid for 1 year, right? So it's one of these things that's going to come into your head. The thought that's going to come into your head is, okay, so after 1 year, when we have probably paid a lot of money for a certification, what happens? Guess what? Microsoft says that they will renew your certifications absolutely free of cost, but then you have to take an online assessment examination for that. So it's like 1 year down the line, you just have to reprove yourself with a small examination, and that again extends your Azure certification, that you are certified in that duration for another year as well, right? So how amazing is this? You'll be paying for the examination once, but definitely you get this kind of a free renewal every year that will just make sure that you down the line do not have to keep paying Microsoft to keep renewing your certifications, right? So that's a very important thing. All right, to check out your courses, Priyanka says hi. Well, hello Priyanka. I hope you're having having a good day. I hope you're able to take up a lot of this information that we are discussing in this particular session. Well, Saransh has a question. Hello, Great Learning. I'm using your app. I noticed that all your courses are free. Are there any premium courses, or is everything free? Well, Saransh, to answer your question, we have Great Learning Academy, where we do provide certifications, the certificates, the courses, everything absolutely free of cost as well. But then whenever you take a look at becoming a specialist, becoming an expert, right, make sure you stay around for a while, Saransh, because at the end of the session, right, in a small moment from now, we are going to actually discuss specialty. We're going to be discussing of how you guys can work towards becoming complete experts in this domain, right? Perfect. So I see Kashyap Pandu. Hi Kashyap, I hope you're doing fine. Kashyap is a regular for our sessions. Superb. So again, Kashyap, I hope you get to take away a lot from this session as well. And Saransh has another comment. Thanks, Great Learning team, for your dedication and providing free knowledge, which will be vital for many of us. Well, Saransh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your kind words. We are glad that Great Learning is having an impact on your learning, right? And that's what we tend to do as well. So we make sure to provide the highest quality of learning content, so you guys can become, you guys can work towards becoming expertise. And of course, in a world where there's a lot of content, having really well curated content with the learner as the perspective is an important thing. Right, guys, anyway, coming back, we're going to be discussing the Azure Fundamental certifications, but just before we start fundamentals, let me quickly get a gulp of water and we can continue. Perfect. Now guys, let us get started with Azure Fundamental certifications, right? See, with Azure Fundamentals, you have 3 certifications out here, and one of these certifications itself is called Azure Fundamentals, right? Azure Fundamentals in itself is a certification that you have to look forward to. There is an exam that you have to clear for this. It's the exam AZ900 that you have to clear to be certified, to be called as an Azure Fundamentals, right? To have that badge that you see on your screen right now, it is this. Now, what does a Azure Fundamental, certification test you on? The first thing is that you definitely will have to have the basic knowledge of how data is used on Azure, how Azure itself works, all the UI components. You getting familiarity with the entire ecosystem is something very important that you're going to be tested on in AZ900. So it's a very vital thing, guys. If you don't have your pen and paper or something, I highly suggest you take a note of these exams and of course the certifications that go with it. It is going to add a lot of value if you guys are very serious about your cloud career, right? Perfect. Now, whenever we go on to take a look at the second certification in the Azure Fundamentals section, we have the Azure Data Fundamentals. Now, Azure Data Fundamentals is the second certifications in the category of fundamentals, which is very, very popular here. Now, just like Azure Fundamentals, you have to clear another exam here. The exam is called as DP900, and once you go on to clear this particular examination, you will be given a badge that looks like that, right? It's a fantastic badge. These fundamental courses, right? We're going to be discussing another fundamental course here. These 3 will add immense amount of value to showcase that you're showing good amount of knowledge in terms of the domain itself, but it also has another advantage. It showcases that you're using it as a stepping stone to maybe look towards associate and even expert level certifications, right? Perfect. So coming back to data fundamentals, you'll actually be tested on multiple life cycle concepts, multiple main services, which are a key part of Azure. So you have to have some working knowledge about what are the services that are being provided for you in Azure, what are the life cycles, how is the development methodology working, is there something that Azure is doing very differently for the other platforms, and all of that is something you have to know. You're going to be tested based upon that. Now, since we're talking about data fundamentals, if you're a person who is very interested in the field of data engineering, right, or let's say you're a person who's looking towards database administration roles and all of that, this certification is an amazing place for you guys to start upon it, right? And look at what I told. I told you that Azure is, it provides all role-based certifications, right? Now, you might be thinking about, hey, I want to work on Azure, but I do not want to become a full-blown cloud computing expert, I want to become a data engineer. Can I still use Azure? I hope this answers your question to that, right? So we have one more question here. Aditya Sharma says, hello sir, is having a computer degree important to get a job after clearing Azure associate exam? Absolutely not, Aditya. Now see, a certification in itself, right? So whenever someone says you are certified in this, it means that there is concrete proof that you know this domain, you understand this domain, you have put in your work, you have put in your good amount of time and effort into learning it, right? So after you're certified, of course there are 1 or 2 companies out there who will say you must have a degree and all of that, but then hey, in today's world, a lot of people are looking for actual skill sets rather than saying you must be a part of this college, you must be a part of tier 1 university and all of that. So you can definitely be fine. Of course, you have to clear the certifications to get there. Right, guys. To talk about the third fundamental certification we have here in Azure, it's the Azure AI Fundamentals. Now, for all of you guys who are looking towards the domain of artificial intelligence and you want to deploy artificial intelligence, AI based solutions on the cloud, look no further than Azure AI Fundamentals, right? As always, here's another exam that you have to clear. Exam AI 900 has to be cleared for this certification. It is extremely popular whenever you're coming from a domain of data science or anything that's related to you providing a solution by using artificial intelligence, right? So attaining artificial intelligence is a goal of data science, but if you have to do all of this on a cloud computing platform, that is possible these days as well. That's the most fantastic thing about these cloud computing platforms. So you can perform a variety of tests on all of your machine learning algorithms. You can work on natural language processing, or the concept of NLP as it's called, and you can use a ton of other services that Microsoft Azure are going to give you to work with artificial intelligence based solutions, right? So to go on to do all of that, you have to showcase your proficiency, and to go with working knowledge of the domain, you definitely can attempt the AI 900 examination, and upon clearing it, you guys will clear the Azure AI Fundamentals certification, right? Now we discussed three things: Azure Fundamentals, Azure Data Fundamentals, and Azure AI Fundamentals. Now a question that you might ask is saying, do I have to finish all three of these to go ahead? The answer is absolutely no, right? But a good place to start is definitely Azure Fundamentals. It will get you started with the domain. Clearing that examination will put a concrete foundation to your learning. So I highly suggest you guys check that out. But then, of course, if you're a person who's into data engineering, if you're a person who's into machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all of that, you can look at Data Fundamentals, or you can look at AI Fundamentals. Perfect. The next thing that we're going to check out is the associate certifications from Azure. Now, to go on to work on these associate certifications, you have to have a decent amount of experience. 6 months to 1 year is what is recommended for this, right? There are 7 very important associate certifications that we have to discuss here. We have the Azure Administrator certification, we have the AI Engineer certification, DBA, which stands for Database Administrator, we have the Data Engineer certification, Data Scientist, Azure Developer, Azure Security Engineer. Can you see how these certifications are again role based? So if you want to become a database administrator, you have a certification of your own. If you want to become a data scientist and use Azure, you have a different certifications. If you're a person who's looking towards security aspect of things, you have an entirely different certification as well, right? So that's the most amazing thing whenever we talk about these things. Perfect. Let us go on to discuss about the first certification that we have, which is the Azure Administrator certification. With Azure Administrator, you have to clear this exam. It's called as AZ104. This is a very important examination that you have to clear if you're looking towards becoming an Azure Administrator. This will test you on your ability of how you can monitor situations, manage solutions, and of course, how you can implement new solutions on existing problems or maybe on novel problems as well. So it will test you a lot about these things. You have to work on a lot about understanding how processing works, how the networking aspect of things work, and how storage itself works on the Azure cloud. So once you have a concrete understanding of all of these, you definitely can attempt the examination. Clearing it adds a lot of value to your resume. Right, guys, moving on to the next one, we have the Azure AI Engineer. Now, hey, this is an associate AI engineer certification, right? So for this, again, you have an examination called as AI 100 that needs to be cleared. It is very, very similar to the Azure AI Foundation, the fundamental certification that we just took a look at 2 minutes back. But here, the level of complexity just becomes bigger, right? So it's a lot more complex. You will be asked questions, to a far more in-depth regarding AI, and that is a very important thing. So whenever you're talking about the concepts of knowledge mining, whenever you're talking about using cognitive services on Azure cloud, or whenever you just want to provide an AI based solutions using the platform itself, right, you definitely need this certification. Again, whenever you're looking for a job as well, people realize that, hey, this person is certified in this particular concept, right? Perfect. Now, guys, to talk about the next certification, we have the Azure, Database Administrator Engineer certification. Now, this talks about how you guys can work on becoming experts in Azure database administration. An exam needs to be cleared for this as well. The exam is called Exam D300. It's a very important examination. It's going to completely test you on how you have the capability to not only manage solutions but also deploy the same using the cloud computing platform, right? So you will be taught about how you you can be working with safe environments, how you will be implementing data platform resources, and a lot more. So having knowledge about these is exactly on what you're going to be tested on in the exam D300, guys. So this is the Azure Database Administrator certification. You definitely should look towards this if you're a person who's very interested in handling the backend aspect of things using Azure, of course, right? Perfect. Next, we're going to talk about the Azure Data Engineer certification. Now, Data Engineer certification is a very important certification. This requires 2 examinations for you to clear, unlike all of these exams that we just took about where you have to clear only one, right? So in this particular case, you have to clear 2 examinations, the DP200 and of course the DP201 as well, to become a data engineer, to become a certified Azure data engineer, right? All right. Perfect, guys. Now to talk about what you're going to be how different is Azure Data Engineer examination from the others, right? Well, this is the only associate level of certification where you'll have to give 2 examinations to clear it. So you'll be quizzed on a lot about data security, data monitoring, and the concepts of data management itself. So having knowledge about this is a concrete requirement for you guys to clear these 2 examinations, DP200 and of course DP201, right? And if you are a person who is looking towards handling the concepts of big data, data ingestion, and all of these in the life cycle of data itself, I highly suggest you guys check out the Azure Data Engineer certification, right? Perfect. Now to move on, the next one we're going to be checking out is the Azure Data Scientist certification. Now, the Azure Data Scientist certification is a fascinating one because again, this requires 1 examination, DP100, that you have to clear, and the huge advantage of you guys looking towards 2 very fantastic domains such as data science and cloud computing is that you can deploy all of your machine learning models, AI models, deep learning models, whatever it is, using the Azure ecosystem itself, and that is exactly what you'll be tested upon, is how best can you make use of the Azure ecosystem and how best can your model perform when it is used on these particular ecosystems as well, right? So you will be tested on your ability to implement solutions, to deploy machine learning solutions, and a lot more. So it becomes very important that if you guys are looking towards expertise in data science on the Azure platform, you highly should look towards and work towards the DP100 examination, right, guys? Perfect. Now let me take in a question. Kashyap Pandu says, sir, will these certifications will be considered an interview of DS? Well, Kashyap Pandu, yes, I highly think that if you're looking towards a company which requires you to be an expert in deploying models on Microsoft Azure, you of course, being a data scientist, you definitely will require this. And sir, is this free of cost? Well, Kashyap, I've already discussed this at the start of the session. I think you joined in a little late. Each of these certifications has an exam that you can see needs to be cleared. To clear these certification exams, to take up these exams, right, for every attempt there is a certain fee. The fee goes on somewhere from from somewhere around 7,000 Indian rupees all the way to somewhere around 24,000 rupees. So it depends on what exam that is you're willing to take, and for every attempt it's going to cost, of course, right? Perfect. To talk about the next associate certification, ladies and gentlemen, is the Azure Developer certification, right? So for this, you are going to require an examination, another examination called AZ204 that needs to be cleared. Here you'll be tested on your ability of how you can work with Azure services, how you can not only design but also create, maintain, and test all of these services at the same time as well. It's a very important thing that you guys have to know about. The third thing is that it is also very, very important that you guys have to know about how you can work with the software development kit itself. That is what SDK stands for. So Amazon, I'm sorry, I say Amazon, I meant to say Azure. Again, you see Amazon, Azure, and Google, all of these guys are the top platforms, right? So whenever you go on to use this Azure SDK, having working knowledge on that is very, very important for you guys to work towards becoming an Azure developer, right? Perfect. The next one, the last one of the Azure associate certifications that we're going to be checking out is the Azure Security Engineer certification. Now, a common thing is that whenever you put your data, somewhere else, whenever you put your data, on the cloud platform, it is usually like saying, hey, is my data safe or not? Of course, for you to portray yourself to be an expert in terms of Azure security, there's another certification here. The exam you have to clear for it is AZ500. This will test you on your ability of how you can implement security controls, how you can work with identity management, even role-based authentication as well. There's a lot of different different things that you have to know about. And hey guys, whenever we're talking about data, one important thing is to protect it, and these data protection techniques keep changing day in and day out, right? So you have to have the knowledge about the latest data protection methodologies, and once you have working knowledge of all of that, I think it's vital that you guys take up AZ 500 if you're looking towards the data security aspect of things, right? Perfect guys, if you have any more questions, head to the comment section and put down your comments while I'll just get a quick gulp of water. Alright, perfect. So next we're gonna move on to understand the Azure Expert certifications. Now we saw the fundamental, we saw the associate level certifications. Now we're gonna take a look at the expert certifications. Well, in terms of expert certifications, the offering from Microsoft are pretty nice out here, because we have two very important Azure expert certifications, which is the Azure Solutions Architect certification and the Azure DevOps Engineer, right? So let us discuss each of them individually. To start out with, firstly, if you're taking a look at the Azure Solutions Architect, right now, being certified in this, right, so it means that you actually are a thorough expert in Azure itself, right? How amazing is that? But then to go on to showcase yourself saying, hey, I am thorough in Azure, you have to clear two important examinations, Azure AZ 303 and of course 304 as well. Now again, in the expert category, here is another certification where you have to clear two examinations for it, right? Of course, this certification is definitely going to be challenging. You're going to require complete knowledge of application design, working on security, how you can look towards infrastructure management, infrastructure maintenance, cost cutting, even with the respect of how you can use data to solve problems, right? So when you're calling yourself as an expert Azure developer, or let's say an Azure solutions architect, as an architect you have to know things in and out, right? So it's vital to have a lot of experience before attempting this particular examination. It's a very popular examination. And once on the other side, once you become a certified Azure Solutions Architect, the salary trends increase in an exponential way. So people out there are looking for solutions architects, and I think all of you all who are tuned into this session can definitely work towards becoming experts there, right? Perfect guys, the next one we're going to check out is the Azure DevOps Engineer certification. Now with the Azure DevOps Engineer certification, unlike the previous one, we do not require two examinations to clear. You require one examination. It's called as the AZ 400 that you have to clear, right? But to get to this point, to call yourself as an Azure DevOps engineer, it becomes very vital that you either using it and providing solutions on a wonderful cloud computing platform such as Azure. It becomes vital that you understand all the strategies that go on into doing this, understand code, understand all the testing methodologies, implementation, and how you can do all of this on the Azure platform, right? So once you can go on to do all of this, then providing a solution catering via Azure becomes very easy. But to become certified, you have to write the exam AZ 400. So I hope you are clear with all the fundamental certifications, associate certifications, and the expert level certifications, right? Perfect guys, now we're going to take a look at two fantastic specialty certifications that we have here at Microsoft Azure. It's the Azure IoT Developer Certificate and of course the Azure for SAP workloads as well. Now in this particular case, with the Azure IoT Developer Certification, as someone of you asked in the comment section, you can implement Internet of Things, the entire technology, the entire domain, and provide solutions using Azure as well. So to go on to become an expert in IoT, to become certified saying, hey, I can implement IoT solutions on Microsoft Azure, you are going to take a look at the Azure IoT Developer Certification, right? It's a specialty certification. Again, on the other side of things, if you're a person who's looking towards integrating SAP technologies and of course bringing it together with Microsoft Azure, you have another specialty certification for it. It's called as Azure for SAP workload. So depending on what it is that you require. Now IoT is a very different thing when you compare it to handling a SAP workload, right, or SAP workload. So it is a specialty. It is not what everyone would want to do, but then hey, if you're a person who's willing to do it, well, Microsoft Azure has a certification ready for you guys to take up, and of course you have to clear the examinations and all of that, right? Perfect guys, so with this we are done with the certifications aspect of things, but I'm sure it has left you with a lot of important questions, right? Like what are your perspectives of looking towards having a serious career in cloud computing, in the field of cloud computing, right? one important thing that you have to understand is that it's a very, very popular domain right now. It is portrayed to be showing somewhere around 35% of growth right in this year, in the year 2021, right? Now, when I told you that Azure has somewhere around 20% market share of the entire cloud computing industry, look at the size of the industry. It's a $120 billion+ industry, and when it is that big, having 20% of that, a strong footing in 20% of that is an amazing thing, right? And as I've been mentioning, with COVID-19 and with everyone looking towards more of cloud computing, now there is an aggressive requirement. Everyone in the world, every company, be it the startups or the multinational corporations, are looking for experts in the domain of cloud computing. So this creates thousands and thousands of job openings, and there is no more perfect time than right now for you guys to get started with cloud computing, guys. Right, perfect. So one question which is very important, which I always get, is saying, okay, so what happens after COVID-19 ends, right? Now, if you take a look at even during COVID-19, even during the months of March 2020 or so, that is when people were really panicking. They thought that, we're going to get into a really bad recession. Of course, a lot of businesses across the globe took a major hit and all of that. But when it came to this domain of cloud computing, it was showing a strong amount of resistance to this, where people were being dropped from their jobs because of the recession thing, right? So see, why would anyone want to let go of their current cloud computing resources if they rapidly want more and more of them, right? So cloud computing is a prime requirement in today's world. All of these services that are being offered offline before were now completely being pushed through the cloud as well. So it is in nowhere a limitation. In fact, it adds tenfolds of advantages. Probably for every 10 advantages, it might give you one small disadvantage, right? So with this, with remote working, we don't know how long this is going to go for. So demand for expert cloud computing, people is definitely the need of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, right? And a fantastic thing that I am a huge fan of is that whenever you're talking about cloud computing, right, cloud computing is one of the pathways of how you can even reach domains such as healthcare. Now, healthcare is very different from what we do in information technology, but knowing that a majority of healthcare services, products, and everything is now powered by cloud computing is such a fascinating thing, right? You're bringing together two different domains to achieve one fantastic goal. So that's a very important thing that you guys should know about. Right. Now with this, a common question that I get asked is saying, okay, so wonderful, we understood all of this. Where do we go if we have to learn more about cloud computing, right? My advice for all of you all, if you're very serious about having a career in cloud computing, is to make sure that you take it really slow. Now see, cloud computing is a domain which is as big as an ocean, right? It's an ocean's worth of technology is what I'd like to call it. So in that case, what usually happens is that, you can be overwhelmed by all the content. Now, if you just go to Google, do a simple search, learn cloud computing, you will be given millions of results in 1 second, right? So you will definitely be confused if you do not have a path. It's literally like you being put in the middle of a forest. You don't have a map and you have to figure your way out, right? It is very difficult to do so. So having a structured path to learn, understanding that, hey, my learning will eventually get me to my goal and that I'll become an expert at the end of it is very, very important, guys. Sometimes people do get started with the domain. They do not have a structured path. They just do staggered amount of learning from multiple places. In that case, if it's working out, then it's well enough, but usually it doesn't work out, and it means that the person learning the domain will quit, right? So that is not great. So to make sure that you guys are in touch with a structured path, you guys know the right way to learn, make sure you're talking to the subject matter experts, right? Now you have tuned in to a session where I am a subject matter expert, and of course all of us here who put out videos for you are here at Great Learning. All of them are subject matter experts in their own domains. So whenever you're tuning into sessions such as this, it will only add a lot of value for you to understand that, hey, whenever you guys go to the comment section to put down your comments, to put down your questions, and we answer it, you are taking away a good amount of knowledge along with the session itself, right? So you get to understand how we subject matter experts think and what we know about the domain itself. We can teach it to you guys as well, right? Amazing. Now, another add-on question is that say, okay, so what are the mediums using Great Learning? Can I get free content out there? I think the first most important place that you guys should check out is Great Learning Academy. Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place where we provide courses absolutely free of cost. Right from you signing up all the way to you having a certificate of completion, it is completely free, guys. So make sure you're checking out Great Learning Academy. We have 200 plus courses where these courses are taught by subject matter experts in multiple different languages as well. Perfect. Apart from that, we have the Great Learning YouTube channel, through which of course you guys are watching this video right now. Great Learning YouTube channel. I highly suggest you guys hit the subscribe button, because whenever you subscribe, right guys, we have a lot of people watching the session right now. We have 21 people watching, guys. Head to the comment section and let me know if you have subscribed to Great Learning or not. If you haven't, take a second to subscribe, take a second to like the video, because you will be in touch. At the end of the day, we are doing all of this to make sure you guys can learn well, right? So make sure you subscribe to it, make sure you're liking the video, sharing it among friends and whatnot. There is another place where you can learn for free with Great Learning is we provide blogs. Now, for all the people who are who love reading blogs, well, we have Great Learning blogs where you guys can, again, all of these content again are written by experts. You can definitely check it out. Sometimes I do prefer reading about technical things rather than watching videos first. Maybe I watch videos later. So when that is the case as well, I always love reading technical blogs, and blogs are amazing things. It's literally like stories about this fascinating world of information technology, right? So you guys can definitely access all of these three places for more free content on Great Learning. But ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are looking towards specialization in cloud computing, if you guys are looking towards becoming experts, right now, there's a good chance that most of you guys who have tuned into this particular session, you might be beginners in the domain or intermediate users, right? To go from there to becoming a complete expert, I highly suggest you guys work towards your specialization, guys. Now just one second. Alright, perfect. Now let me go on to actually showcase you guys one very important program here with respect to cloud computing, which is the post-graduation program, the PGP program here with respect to cloud computing, guys. This is an amazing, fantastically put together program. It is very comprehensive. It is India's first mentorship driven program. This is for 6 months. It goes on online, and of course, guys, there are so many different reasons of why you should consider having your post-graduation program, picking up this program in terms of cloud computing, right? First of all, you get a completely thorough, it's a very well planned, very well put together curriculum where you get to learn 90 plus cloud services on AWS, on Azure, on GCP, and of course the concepts of DevOps itself. You'll be working with 15 plus hands-on projects. You'll have all these relevant industry level projects you'll be working on. You get live personalized mentorship, so whenever you're looking for any sort of 1:1 guidance and all of that, yes, that is given. You have 100 plus hours of instructional content where you might have certain doubts whenever you're learning online, right? So these are live sessions where you can get your doubts cleared and learn alongside your peers as well. And when you're taking a look at Great Learning for cloud computing, right? So guys, we are India's leading cloud industry, and of course we are the preferred choice for multiple technology professionals out there. So there's a reason why this program is as big as it is. This is considered to be the India's first mentorship driven cloud computing cloud program. So I highly suggest you guys check this out, and upon completion you will get a certificate which looks like this. This certificate is from Great Lakes Executive Learning. So it'll give you a certificate saying that, hey, this person is a postgraduate, completed the postgraduate program in cloud computing, right? So it's an amazing thing. It adds so much knowledge. It'll take you right from being a beginner all the way to becoming an expert. And not only that, with this you have a certificate where you have concrete evidence to showcase, hey, I have a certification first of all from a really well thought of program, which is again completely based upon how well you guys definitely look towards the domain itself, considering what the industry requirements are. There's a million things which goes on to create a program, guys. Of course, taking a look at the curriculum now, you can see that we have a very thoroughly put together. We discuss 90 plus cloud services here. You're going to start with Cloud Primer, then you're going to be working with Cloud Foundations. You can see what it is that you're going to be learning in each of these sub modules, and in each of these modules you have quizzes, you have to clear certain projects, and once you understand all of these different concepts and projects, you'll be working on an important capstone project. project. Capstone project talks about how you can use all of your learning to solve in an industry level to use case, right? This is what is the thing that's going to impress potential employers out there. They will use when they see this project on your resume, they'll understand that you are a person who has expertise in this domain, right? Perfect. Now, after adding on to your start into cloud computing, after the foundations, you're going to be taking a look at specialization in AWS. You have a completely thorough curriculum for AWS and of course for Azure and GCP as well. So all of these things, be it AWS, Azure or GCP, these guys are the top providers. So it becomes vital that you have functioning knowledge of all of these guys, right? So you get to work on all of that. After that, again, as I just mentioned, you'll be working on Capstone project. Once you complete the Capstone project, you'll be given a PG certificate from Great Lakes Executive Learning. So you'll be working with a lot of languages here: Python, Docker, Cassandra, Hadoop, Hive, Terraform, and many other languages and tools that you're going to be working with, right? So you can take a look at some of the Capstone projects itself. If you click on learn more, it'll take you into a deep dive into what it is that you'll have to work on with that particular project, what it is that you're trying to solve, what is the problem statement, and all of that. And the immense advantage, the huge advantage here is that you get to learn from the leading academicians in the field of cloud computing and people who have been doing this for a really long time, right? So you can be learning from amazing faculties out here. You get to learn with multiple professors, multiple mentors, and of course award-winning faculties as well. So as you can see on your screen, we have multiple different faculties. These guys are completely thorough experts in this particular domain. You'll be learning from them, and if you keep scrolling down, right, you can find out why this world-class faculty and this world-class program is going to help you a lot. So you can find out all the advantages of this particular program as well. You can find out our learners testimonies, so what people have to say about our programs and all of that. You can check out all the reviews and all of that. And at the end of the day, hey, so since this is a completely comprehensively put together program, you definitely this is a 6-month program, ladies and gentlemen, where you're getting 300 plus hours of learning content. You're getting 15 plus real industry level use cases, 90 plus cloud services, and all of that, right? So at the end of the day, it has a small cost to it. So there's a criteria for admission and there's a certain fees as well. So you can get to know the application process too. You'll be filling up a simple application form. You're gonna get a screening calls from the admission director's office, after which you'll be given an offer letter to roll out to become a candidate in this, right? So you can find out all the upcoming deadlines as well, find the batch starting dates, and more frequently asked questions. So guys, I highly suggest you check out this post-graduation program in cloud computing. This is going to handhold you from being a beginner all the way to becoming a thorough expert in the domain. So right guys, with this you have come to the end of the session. I hope I was able to give you a lot of knowledge in terms of Azure certifications, in terms of you guys a career in cloud computing, and of course looking towards cloud computing specialization as well. So thank you so much for being a wonderful audience as always. It's an absolute pleasure to be taking a session for you all. With this guys, the pandemic is still on. Make sure you guys are staying safe from the ongoing pandemic. Take all the safety measures that's required. Keep your learning rate up. If you subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, we will be putting out a lot of videos. As you can see, you can use all of this to increase your knowledge. And of course, Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place for you guys to be checking out various courses as well. Right guys, with this I wish you all well. Have a nice day ahead. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.